Hey, Shalawam, Shalawam. Alright. Shalawam, Shalawam. I gotta do this one. I just came across something. Just want to bring it out real quick. Slovakia. Okay. All right, fair use, fair use. TikTok, be with me. Fair use, fair use. Oh man, dad, go on it, bro. This man's tripping.
Facing.
All right, we got to do it like this. Hold up. Hey, if I unplug it, plug it back up. Hey, Esau technology, man, just in general.
Is facing an.
Thank you. All right. You got to work with E. All right, first and foremost, all praises be to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the great millstone, which rule well and teach well and sincerity taught us his truth. Shalawam to the Lord's hopeful elect, 144,000 men, as well as 1/3 men, women, and children, maintaining themselves, keeping the laws, commandments, and statutes to the best of their ability. It's your brother Yerami Kazak back with hopefully another edifying lesson. Through the spirit, power, and strength of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Kakadash, the true names of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. All right. So, we're going to go into this, man, real quick. Fair use, fair use. Okay? This is for educational purposes only. All right? So, let's check it out, man. I'm going to play a little bit of the speech, and we're going to go into it. This lesson will be entitled, A House Divided. A House Divided. All right?
The United States of America is facing an emergency tonight. And no, it is not the emergency of the clock ticking to midnight without legislated funding for the American government. We've seen that clock tick to midnight before on nights like this. The emergency the United States of America is facing tonight is an emergency the United States of America has created for the world. And that emergency is that the President of the United States, in his public appearance today, proved that he is mentally incapable and emotionally incapable of fulfilling his constitutional duties as President of the United States. In other words, there is no President of the United States as we knew it. There is no functioning intelligence, no functioning judgment mechanism within the mind of the current holder of the title, President of the United States. And that person is also the holder of the nuclear codes that could destroy the planet in seconds. And he is, much to the horror of the commanding officers of the American military who listen to him today, the commander-in-chief.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Now, we just going to hit a couple. All right, I'm a little pressed for time. But this is Isaiah 19:4. And the Egyptians, which are modern-day Americans, Okay, and because this place is spiritually Egypt, Revelations 11:8. So the Egyptians, it's talking about you Americans, you Babylonians. Will I give over into the hand of a cruel lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith Yahawah, Yahawah of hosts. Now, that is indeed Agent Orange, man. Okay, cruel. And it means hard, cruel, severe, obstinate, hard, difficult, fierce, intense, vehement, stubborn, stiff of neck, stiff-necked. Okay? Or what? What else? Churlish, cruel, grievous, hard-hearted. All right? Same thing with Pharaoh, how the heart was hearted. Hard, how the father, hearted the heart of Pharaoh. He's hearted the heart of Trump, DJT, to do these type of things. Bringing Nero, man. Heavy, imprudent. Imprudent meaning stupid, sottish. All right? Prevail, roughly, sore, sorrowful, stubborn, in trouble. So we got a so-called president, he's a trouble in Jacob's trouble. Of course, you're gonna have to have a president that's full of trouble in Jacob's trouble. This dude does not know how to rule. He's ignorant, and he does things out of pride, out of ego. Okay, let's let it go some more. Cause this dude, man, I like this dude, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I was watching this and he starts chewing. Boy, he gets into the man's ass, man. Let's go.
The most powerful military in the history of the world. Much of the news media made the mistake of believing that all of the American commanding generals and admirals were being summoned to Quantico, Virginia to listen to the small man of small experience who is currently the Secretary of Defense. That was obviously a fraudulent reason for demanding that all the generals and admirals fly from all over the world, leaving their command posts, to listen to a speech. It was obviously always just a setup for Donald Trump to harangue that audience with what turned out to be stream of consciousness madness, complete with hallucinations and an endless stream of pathological lies. A group of officers who earned their jobs in ways that Donald Trump never could, had to sit there and listen to a clown who stood before them in what appears to be a homemade brew of orange makeup slathered all over his face because he thinks it makes him look better. And I guess maybe we should accept Donald Trump's judgment about that one thing. That the madman orange makeup he slathers on himself makes him look better. Maybe it does. We don't know. Maybe the actual sight of the actual color of his 79-year-old skin is much worse than the orange clown confection that he chooses, but we don't know. Or maybe the orange junk on his face is yet another proof that the man has no capacity to make a judgment about anything, including the way he looks, never mind nuclear weapons. What was he thinking backstage when his Secretary of Defense, who had to promise to stop drinking to get confirmed by the Senate, insulted all of the commanding officers in the room with this kind of idiocy?
It's completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals in the halls of the Pentagon and leading commands around the country and the world. It's a bad look. It is bad, and it's not who we are.
Okay, Pete. How about fat presidents? How about a president who has been fat every day of his political career? Is that a bad look? All of those generals can button their uniform jackets. All of those admirals can, every one of them. So there's the Secretary of Defense, who may or may not be managing his reported drinking problem, telling all of those commanding officers that they better never look as bad as Donald Trump.
Hey, yo, this is a house divided, man. That's what we seeing. Little petty-ass arguments, petty insults, things of that nature. All right? And you're going to see this. You see this also from who else? The 2/3, okay, of our nation. Israelites going back and forth with one another, having these pointless debates and things of that nature, man. Foolishness. All right? That's all this is. It's a house divided. Now, Trump has been set up by the Most High to do a certain work. Let's go to 2 Ezra 16:39. Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. O my people, hear my word. Make ye ready to thy battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. That doesn't mean we're going to fight in the wars. No, we have to be ready to thy battle and be as pilgrims upon the earth. Okay? Anybody thinking we going to go join the military and go in WW3, and no, you're fighting for Esau. Or go out in the streets and fight out here against these clowns. No, you're fighting for Esau. Okay? Or you're falling right into Esau's trap. He that selleth, let him be as he that fleeth away, and he that buyeth as one that will lose. He that occupieth merchandise as he that have no profit by it, and he that buildeth as he that shall not dwell therein. He that soweth as if he should not reap. So also he that planteth the vineyard as he that shall not gather the grapes. They that marry as they shall get no children, and they that marry not as the widowers. And therefore that they labor in vain. For strangers shall reap their fruits, and spoil their goods, overthrow their houses, and take their children's captives. For in captivity and famine shall they get children. Now, what is we talking about, man? Your so-called American dream business that you've been building up. Leave it behind. All right? That woman that you've been pursuing. Okay? If she's not already your spouse, if you ain't already married to her, leave that shit behind. We're not going to be chasing women in Jacob's trouble. No, Isaiah 4:1, they're going to come to us. They're going to seek us out. They're going to come on their knees begging, pleading. Take me, take me. All right? You're not going to be chasing women. Okay? So this stuff is coming upon the earth, man. And we get to sit back and laugh at our enemy while they're falling, while they're bickering and arguing with one another. I was watching a couple videos today about Congress. And you got this Republican dude was sitting up there talking about, we could end this government shutdown in a matter of hours, President, if y'all would just sit down and sign this bill. But they don't want to. All right? This is all orchestrated by something higher, man. Okay? And we know most definitely Yahawah. All right? But he's also put the spirit on the elites. They are puppets. He put the spirit on them to bring this nation down. To bring chaos, so they can so-called bring order out of chaos. Right? Let's let this go.
Who can't even button his suit coat jacket. There was some suspense in the room today when Donald Trump was giving his speech. There was no suspense about would he cross the line that you never cross with the military as president and get political. Everyone knew he was going to do that. Everyone knew that he doesn't know there's a line. Everyone knew he was going to foolishly waste the admirals and generals' time telling them about how many swing states he wanted. And of course he did. The suspense in the room was whether the very, very tired, almost sleepy 79-year-old man at the microphone was going to make it through that 1 hour and 11-minute speech. And there were times in the middle of a sentence that it would seem like he just might drop right there, might not even finish that sentence. And what he seemed to be showing to the generals and the world is that he might not have the physical strength to make it through the 3 years, 3 months, and 20 days left of his presidency. Is that what has given J.D. Vance such a spring in his step lately? Is that why the vice president looks so happy these days? Donald Trump has never looked physically weaker or wearier than he did today. Weaker in every sense of that word, physically, mentally. Because Donald Trump is uneducable. He still doesn't understand why he walked into a room of military commanders today and faced silence.
Boom. Going back to that cruel, that word cruel, which also means imprudent or stupid or sottish. Lack of intelligence. A cruel individual, a Brutus individual is a dumb individual, man. You have no type of compassion, no type of understanding. Cruel also goes back to what? Stiff-necked or stubborn. This man is extremely stubborn and selfish. All he cares about is himself, his ego, and his pride. All right, you a grown-ass man, 70-something years old wearing makeup. The hell is that about, bro? So it's a facade, man. It's a facade. Now let's go to Isaiah 14, because regardless who is in that seat, that is the king of Babylon. This is Isaiah 14:4. That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, and say, how hath the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. Yahawah hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Now this is what is about to take place. But first and foremost, we need Nero or whoever they put in the position to carry out the plan, to carry out Jacob's trouble, to carry out that great tribulation, to bring that time of trouble to the people. And when I say the people, I mean specifically us, the Israelites. So as an individual on the outside, you sitting back looking like, man, he's saying the government gonna come down on our head. He's saying they coming down, they targeting us. Yes. You understand that? Well, why would you prophesy that on yourself? Because that's what the scripture says, bro. We know we got to go through much tribulation. We know we got to go through much trouble. All right? You see these idiots can't get it together? Bro, ain't nobody going to be in the kingdom on a news channel mocking Yahawashi. This is what this dude is doing. He's mocking the king of Babylon. Ain't no honor in that. You know what I'm saying? Let's get to Isaiah 14:16 for the brother. And it reads, they that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? So, yo, we gonna look at Trump in the kingdom. We gonna look at Trump in the pit and be like, yo, you was the dude who had access to the nuclear weapons? You was the dude who sent all those military cops and military men on us? Who sent all the robots on us? You was the dude who made it hard for my people to get jobs and took our food stamps and all that type of stuff away? You was the dude? We gonna look like, yo, this is him? Honor, everything, respect, whatever so-called respect that he might have had, that little bit, that shit's gonna be gone. The fear of him is gonna be gone. He is gonna be a weak ass individual, man. You know? Khan.
Thank you very much, Pete. Great job you're doing, too. Fantastic job. I've never walked into a room so silent before. This is very... Don't laugh. You're not allowed to do that. You know what? Just have a good time. And if you want to applaud, you applaud. And if you want to do anything you want, you can do anything you want. And if you don't like what I'm saying, you can leave the room. Of course, there goes your rank. There goes your future.
These ain't jokes. It's what you call satire. You know? It's a dark comedy. It's real, though. He's not playing. There goes your rank. There goes your future. It's serious. All right? These people, they're going to be put in positions, and they might be morally sound, man. I've served in the military. A lot of these dudes, some of them are actually morally sound. Some of them actually, you know, fear. They call them God or Jesus, but they actually fear the Most High. They don't want to do certain things. It's been times, bro, where I was told to do certain orders, and my supervisor would be like, man, you know, this coming down the chain, bro. I don't want to have you do this shit, but they told me to make you do this shit. And I'm like, all right, bro, it's all good. I understand. It's just the order. The order has been given down. That's how it goes. It's a chain of command, you know? So Trump, DJT, being the ultimate on that chain of command over here on Esau's military, you know? So they're going to be put in positions to do certain things. Now, the Most High could put a spirit on them. Hey, let's say they catch you in a house. They say they enter into your house, but all of them be like, they didn't find nobody. You don't think the Most High could do that? Okay? These type of things could happen. Let's say you in Jacob's trouble, you moving as a pilgrim upon the earth. You going from this building to that building, moving left and right. You come upon a military troop. but they act like they didn't see you. They really ain't rocking with Trump. Let's go to 2 Esdras, the 15th chapter. Don't think everybody is just going to fall down and worship this dude, man. All right? For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. The same way that Jimmy Kimmel went at Trump, this guy's going at Trump. All right? You got other different type of, media outlets criticizing DJT. And it's beautiful. Now, although it may be set up, it could, because these are insiders and they're given a script, So don't let this stuff fool you. All right? It's all part of a bigger show. What we know is these prophecies most indeed will pass. That's what we know. All right? As they say in the world, all publicity is good publicity. Whatever. But that sedition among men, we know that shall pass. We know some of these generals will commit mutiny. It will be sedition among men. You go to Civil War. Let's go to the movie Civil War real quick. In Alex Garland's 2024 film, Civil War, the primary factions are the Loyalist States, the Rebel Western Forces, California-Texas Alliance, and the Florida Alliance, a group of southeastern states, and the New People's Army, a northwestern coalition. Now, we're not stating that this is what's going to happen, but we understand a civil war is coming to this nation. And you do have talks of Texas and California separating from the government. You do have talks of Florida. I remember during the CV-19 situation, Florida was not compromising. They was not wearing masks. They wasn't moving in that vibration. They wasn't listening to the government. All right, Florida and Texas move on their own accord. You know what I'm saying? So what you have is tensions rising up, ongoing tensions. Okay? These groups are in conflict with the federal government. And the story follows a team of journalists as they navigate the war-torn United States, aiming to capture events as the Western forces advance on Washington, D.C. Right? It's a good movie if you've never seen it. It's on Amazon Prime, I believe. It might be on Netflix. Nah, it's on Amazon Prime. All right. One of those. But, you can check it out. Exactly. And, yeah, Texas is... If you know how big Texas is, Texas could be their own country. That's how big Texas is. And then California has the 7th best economy in the world. So they could be their own country. All right, with Hollywood and Silicon Valley, Google, YouTube, all right, Amazon, all that stuff is coming out of California. That stuff is massive. So they could be their own economy. If California is separated from the United States, that tax revenue that the U.S. was getting from California, it's detrimental to them, man. So part of being in this thing is understanding economy, because that goes into Revelations, the 18th chapter. All right, how this place, and Revelation 17 and 16, how they're going to make the beast, they're going to make this whore naked. They're going to break her down, break her economic status down. What happens in wars? Blockades. Okay? You want to starve out your enemy first, then you want to invade. So ports, you want to place ships in the midst. Do all you can to stop their economic revenue coming in, their food. You know what I'm saying? So let's keep it going.
But you just feel nice and loose, okay? Because we're all on the same team. And I was told that, sir, you won't hear a murmur in the room. I said, we got to loosen these guys up a little bit. So you just have a good time.
He didn't loosen them up. They didn't have a good time. They didn't applaud. Politely applauded only at the end. Donald Trump lied to the commanders repeatedly, and they knew it. He told them Ukraine is the worst war since World War II. Everyone sitting in that room knows that the war Donald Trump avoided by getting a doctor's excuse, the Vietnam War, which in Vietnam is correctly called the American War, killed over 4 million people. It was in what was then South Vietnam, North Vietnam, and as the United States spread the war into Cambodia and Laos, the war across those borders was much worse than what you're seeing in Ukraine. And he insulted the commanders with his lies about war. He told them that Portland, Oregon, quote, looks like a war zone.
It's a damn lie. Look, man, as a watchman, look at the things that these individuals be saying. They said Washington, D.C. was tarnished and it was so much crime. But if you go into the stats, Washington, D.C., the crime rate was low. Okay? But he wanted to bring in troops regardless. They said Washington, D.C. wasn't that bad anymore. So he's trying to put that on Portland. Like Portland is no, it's not that bad anymore. All right? These things did not need to happen. All right? So what they're doing is called propaganda. Let's get that. And really, Esau is not even caring, bro. They're just speaking bold and they're just doing it. They don't care if they know the prophets is going to fact check and do all of this, but they don't care because the majority of people are stupid or sottish and they don't research and they don't look up. Okay? This is propaganda. It's the strategic spread of information to influence public opinion, beliefs, or behavior for a specific cause. And what is that cause? A civil war. What is that cause? To bring in martial law. If it can be used, it can use information that is true, false, or a mixture of both, often representing facts in a biased or misleading way to provoke a desired response. While sometimes used as a neutral term, particularly in historical contexts, it is now more often associated with negative or manipulative tactics. Propaganda. Right? When Jake got freed from slavery, okay, what did we do? We started taking watermelon seeds, growing watermelons, and brothers had $100,000 businesses and things of that nature. We was making money just selling watermelons. Jake was getting money, man. All right? Yeah, we already, you kind of late. We don't went into it. Order out of chaos. But yeah, the brothers in the same spirit. So most definitely, order out of chaos. So what did Esau do? They went and painted these pictures and these cartoons and things of that nature of Jake with big ass lips, and all we eat is watermelon and fried chicken. Which we was making money from watermelon and fried chicken. But you want to take it and make it like it's an insult to us. All right? Come on, man. It's propaganda. Sambo. If you ever looked up what Sambo is, it's a propaganda, man. This right here, this is a propaganda. Okay? To paint us in a light that they want the entire world to look at us as. Okay? And really, it'll make Jake hate theyself in a sense, man. Jake still push melon. Yeah, Jake still push melon out here too. You got Issachar, bro. I can go on them back streets. Issachar out there selling watermelon. Yeah, watermelon is, the watermelon seed is the most healthiest seed you can eat. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. But I'm going to let a little bit more of this go and then we'll wrap it up.
Someone who has no idea what a war zone looks like. Everyone in his audience knows what a war zone looks like. Everyone in his audience today knew that Donald Trump was lying. Donald Trump was telling the kind of lie that should concern his doctors and his family when he said Portland looks like a war zone. He hallucinated dialogue that has never happened. And his 79-year-old brain cells couldn't find words that were right there, just out of reach, like this.
the Iran nuclear power, the Iran, all of the great power that we thought existed, we blew it out to kingdom. We took advantage of it.
We blew it out to kingdom. Of course, what he wanted to say was, we blew it out to kingdom come. That is the phrase he grew up with. That is the phrase he has known most of his life. But that word combination is lost to his failing brain now. And there is also the possibility that his failing brain thinks that he actually did say kingdom come when he only said kingdom. Because that's the way brain failure works. And an obviously unhealthy 79-year-old man struggling and failing to make sense about anything. Generals flew across oceans, admirals crossed the world to come and listen to the most ridiculous person who has ever stood before them to discuss walking downstairs.
We were not respected with Biden. They looked at him falling downstairs every day. Every day the guy's falling downstairs. They said, it's not our president. We can't have it. I'm very careful, when I walk downstairs or like I'm on stairs, like these stairs, I'm very...
Man, look, yo. Jeremiah 49:10. But I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. All right? These guys are done, man. They're exposed for foolishness. The wisdom is done. All right? The little wisdom that they used to have. Okay, let's go to verse 7. Concerning Edom, thus saith Yahawah of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman? Is counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? The answer would be yes, indeed. Okay? Esau's heyday was the 1950s, man. 1940s, 1950s, 1930s, when they could call you a nigga and nothing could happen. Right? You try to lash out at them, they beat your ass, and then you get thrown in jail. You know? They could hang you and nothing will happen to them. Unalive you, nothing will happen to them. Right? Now that still happens today. In minor sets, yeah. Alright? Let Esau be a cop. They unalive you, they get away, maybe with pay. Okay? Or we got certain cases where they hang you and nothing happens. They call it a suicide. Okay? Yeah, that stuff still happens, but not how it used to in the 50s and the 60s and the 40s and the 30s. All right? So, their heyday is over. They are being exposed. They are naked. They are vulnerable. Their mindset is gone. Their wisdom is done. They don't know what to do anymore. They're sweating in their boots, man. You understand? That's why they're coming down with great wrath. If you can't see that, then you living under a rock. Okay? Wake up. Wake up, Jacob. We got to say it again. This is Revelations 12:12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. And we already did a video on this earlier, the key points of it, but just going into it once again, right, is that him basically declaring war, him and Pete Hegseth and Thawada for the brother Tassad, bringing that to my attention, because I honestly didn't know who that dude was. I just watched a little snippet of this before, a couple days ago. But that Pete Hegseth dude, these guys have Jacob on their mind. These guys have, and all of these Edomites, bro, perpetual hatred, Yeah, he's bringing down, coming down with an extreme amount of fury. All right. Let's get Isaiah 59:19. Let's begin to wrap it up. And it reads, so shall they fear the name of Yahawah from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the spirit of Yahawah shall lift up a standard against him. Now that enemy is the wicked who possesses the sword. That's his blessing. So he's coming down. He's coming down with that sword, extremely hot and heavy. And you won't be able to escape it unless Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi is with you, man. All right? That's it. Point blank period, man. You're not going to be able to escape it. So, hey, that's pretty much been the lesson. Just a quick hit. All right? Esau is pretty much, they're open, they're bold, they're coming down on you 100%. They're not holding back. All right? You about to see troops in your city. This is what's about to take place. Task force. He called all the generals in. He pulled all the generals from every post around the planet and had them fly to America to listen to him give this dumbass speech. And what they showed us is that's what they showed us. But stuff happened behind the scenes. Okay? All right? Okay, Nahum 3. Nahum 3, 4 through 7, the brother want to get. Because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-flavored harlot, the mistress of witchcraft that selleth nations through her whoredoms, and families through her witchcrafts, behold, I am against thee, saith Yahawah of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame, and I will cast abominable filth upon thee, and make thee vow, and will set thee as a gazing stock. And it shall come to pass that all they that look upon thee shall flee from thee, and say, Nineveh is laid waste, who will bemoan her? Whence shall I see comforters for thee? And this place could be looked at as a spiritual Nineveh, because what is that sign that Yahawashi said would be given to this generation? The same sign that Noah gave, man. All right? So it's going to, ultimately lead to destruction. That's what's going on. That's what's taking place. As we say all the time, this place has a lot of our captivities, wrapped up in one. Now, for anybody that doesn't know, yes, it was Israelites in Nineveh. Okay? This is why Jonah was even sent there, because it was Israelites there. All right? We don't go nowhere where it's not Israelites. We're not prophesying to heathens. We're not preaching to heathens. Okay? So keep that in mind. But, hey, with that being said, hey, the water for that precept. It was a good precept, bro. And I ain't seen you in a minute, bro. Where you been at? Tazawan? That brother like, yeah, I come to live once a month. Like, yo. Yeah, I was like surprised to see you up in here. But Shalawam, bro, good to see you. You know what I'm saying? And Shalawam to everybody else, man. Good to see y'all, brothers. Good to see you back. Primonial 12 Israelites, good to see you back up in here, bro. Mr. Charisma as well. All right, out there in Africa, good to see you back, bro. All right, y'all brothers keep studying, keep growing, and keep building in this word, man. And watching the elders, a great millstone. And, hey, do what you got to do, man. Serve Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi correctly and properly. All right. So facing the east, all praises be to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the great millstone that rule well and teach well in sincerity, taught us this truth. And Shalawam to the Lord Tofu elect, 144,000 men, as well as 1/3 men, women, and children. As always, Kwam Yasharahla and Abad Babal. All right? May Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi destroy this bitch yesterday. Let's get up out of here, brothers. Shalawam.